Oi, mate, this is an Australian episode. It's called The Beatles. No, not those Beatles, the other Beatles, yeah, those. It's about an Egyptian curse set in the 1930s. Alright, I'm gonna stop talking like that. We are on the first episode of Season 4, the very last season of Tales from the Darkside. There's a total of 20 episodes in Season 4. So, archaeologist Arthur, who looks a lot like John Cleese from Monty Python, it's not him. It's played by actor Rod McGarry, who was in the movie The Flintstones. He has been looting and pillaging, as archaeologists always do, and keeping the treasures for himself. In this case, his sarcophagus with a mummy that he decides to keep in this cottage. It seems like this isn't his main house. This is his cottage where he keeps all his treasures away from other people, so they don't know he's stealing all this stuff. Out in the middle of the woods, of course. And the first thing we see is that he opens up the sarcophagus, and it looks a lot like Eddie. This actually is quite a good design for a mummy. It looks rather frightening. And its two red eyes are, of course, jewels. And it's uncomfortable seeing him pluck out these jewels from the mummy's eyes. You're like, oh no, that's a terrible idea. And our suspicions are confirmed when a guy comes to visit him by the name of Hamid Bey. And he warns Arthur that there's a curse, an ancient Egyptian curse. Do not take the treasures from this mummy, or else great misfortune will come upon you. Of course, he doesn't heed these warnings. And the great misfortune is that the sarcophagus and the mummy itself begins to just bleed beetles. So we see tons of beetles throughout this episode, which aren't the most frightening creatures in the world, but I get it. They're playing on the Egyptian scarabs. And this one is just as predictable as you would think, but it's at least good to have a more horror-themed episode, finally, in Tales from the Darkside. And the actor Arthur does a really good job playing a sleazy tomb robber. But also you can tell he thinks very highly of himself and really doesn't consider what he's doing is wrong. The mummy also possesses treasure not only in its eyes, but when you cut the rest of its body, there's even more jewels, bracelets, gold, amulets. And he will see these beetles come at him, and then he will try to kill them and they will disappear. This also happens with the treasure as well. 1 second the treasure will be there, and then they'll just disappear. And so you're led to believe there's a mummy's curse and it's going to kill them. They throw a little bit of a quote-unquote twist at the end where we see Hamid Ray outside of this cabin playing this little flute to make these beetles come at him. So, while he was warning him of the curse, it seems like he's also part of the curse, and is probably going to take the treasures for himself. That's at least the way I read it. So Arthur's accusation earlier in the episode that, hey, you're here to take the treasure too. I want the treasure, but really you want the treasure and you're trying to scare me away. That does seem to be the case, because he's instigating this little beetle parade they're having. There's no blood in this episode, and nothing truly scary happens. I think the design of the mummy, as I mentioned, is good. Beetles are always a little uncomfortable. I mean, who wants those crawling around in your skin? Not I. And the reveal at the end is that, of course, the beetles take over Arthur himself. So this is the perfect episode to give a 5 to. It's literally a 5. Like, if I was to think of a 5 episode, it would be this one. Execution is decent, but there's just no twists. There's no turns. It goes exactly the way you think it's going to go. You never see anything besides beetles. Could they throw spiders or something? Can the mummy come alive and attack them or something? No, of course not. This is a 5 episode. Let's look at a more positive review. This person gave it an 8 out of 10. Finally, a scarab beetle one. When an Egyptianologist works on a cursed sarcophagus, ooh, that's a tongue twister, he finds out the mummy's curse. Kind of a slow-moving episode. It can be boring, but the end result leaves you feeling like you've actually experienced something. Beetles attacking a guy. This might be one of the series' most violent episodes, right? But it doesn't really seem that violent. There's no blood, because it doesn't kick in until the end. I guess the screenshot I showed at the end where the beetles are crawling over his face is quite gross. In fact, they crawl on his face twice in this episode and over his hands. So I think this guy's misusing the term violent, but I think it just means it's a grossness we don't really see. Also, it seems like there's some in his mouth as well. And it's like, did the actor actually allow the beetles to crawl over him like that? Because some of them are real, some of the beetles are fake, some are real. So, seems like he did. Give him a raise. This is a very nice looking episode. It's alright, with a good ending plagued by a lack of a plot. Yeah, I kind of agree. Because there is a mummy's curse, but you don't really learn anything about it. They have 22 minutes to fill. This guy's in this cottage the entire time. They could have filled it with explaining what exactly this curse is. A lot of other episodes, they don't have time to do it, but here they have time to do it. Nothing else is happening. It's just beetles crawling all over the place. So they had time to expand upon what this curse is, give some type of history, but they didn't. Has guest appearance by Colin Meaney. Can be found on Tales from the Darkside, Volume 6, or on the DVD, or maybe online. Next up in Season 4 is Episode 2, Mary, and it's written by... Oh, I don't want to say it. I'm not saying it. I'm out of here. Check out our playlist too. Not Jules Elbow. No! The Ghost of Jules Elbow.